Yeah, I don't want to go to jail for anything. I'm much too, like, weak.
And you're pretty. You are listening to the Stand Up Dads podcast.
This is hecka boring.
Yeah, it is.
Let's try again.
Anyway. Owen's going into your stuff and changing them all. He's an evil genius.
And I'll have to yell at him because this episode is about yelling. This is Stand Up Dads. This is Rob and Mike. Yeah.
And we're about to yell at you, too.
Yeah. It's been brought to my attention that I yell at my kid a lot. And,
From who? From him?
Yeah. Daddy, don't yell. And then I want to cry. And just, so I was like, all right. And did some research and wow, it fucks kids up.
It sucks because, I don't know, then you end up having to look at it where you're like, I'm not hitting them. I'm not spanking them. I'm trying my best. And then also the level of yelling, what I found with Olivia is that because she doesn't get, she's never been actually like hit or yelled at for real, any raised voice is yelling.
I know.
So even me going, that's it. We have to go outside. Oh, you're yelling, you know? And it's like, no, you know, and that's after, you know, you're like, you got to get out of bed. You got to get out of bed. You got to get out of bed. You got to get it. You got to, and then the second we're leaving, it's like, you don't have shoes on. Oh.
We'll get into this.
You know, like, ah.
Oh, but before we start, I have to yell at you about one thing.
What?
It is 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And you have your Christmas shit up already.
Yes.
You have your Christmas
It's magnificent.
You have 2 Christmas trees. You have a regular Christmas tree and a Charlie Brown tree.
They're magnificent. And it's actually been up for a week.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Because we made the decision. Usually I would put it up right before Thanksgiving because I thought, oh, it gives us extra time with the tree. But then Olivia was like, why don't we put our tree up now? And I was like, that's genius.
Dude, it was like 80 degrees the other day.
So what? I have my tree up, and it's all decorated new. We got all our new, because we got into Harry Potter after we started reading it in December last year.
Yeah.
So now we got the new stuff we put up there. We got Slytherin's locket. We got a bunch of little guys on there. We got, and then the second tree I've had forever is my Charlie Brown Christmas tree that Olivia has put one of my mom's wonderful handmade ornaments from when I was a kid. It does not belong, and that's she needs to be yelled at for that. Like, that is something that she needs to be yelled at, to be like, look, this is an accurate Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
After this episode, you'll realize that there's another way to go about it.
Another way for certain things. This is important to know that you are you're disgracing the memory of Charles Schultz.
But if you think Mike is fucking insane for having Christmas shit up already 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, email us, thestandupdads@gmail.com.
Christmas time is here.
I fucking hate that show.
You're kidding me. You hate... How can you hate...
I don't like Peanuts. I'm sorry.
You don't even like Peanuts?
He's a depressed guy.
I must have known this and blocked it out that you don't
there
like
are
Peanuts.
some things that are gems that I really like, but the whole comic is like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. It's just, I'm depressed. Because Schultz was a depressed guy, and he didn't hide it.
But the thing that I found when I read a bunch about him, because I love Schultz and I love Peanuts.
You work at his museum all the time.
Yeah, I love it. The thing I like the best, and what made me mad when they made that Peanuts movie a few years back, really infuriated me that they let him win at the end.
Yeah.
Because they're like, of course, you can't let kids see a kid lose. The thing he said about Charlie Brown...
It should have been Charlie Brown's feet dangling from the top of a thing because he just decided to call it quits.
Yeah, he's always supposed to... Well, the thing that he pointed out in one of the articles I had read, and I was like, that makes so much sense, is yes, it's always going wrong. It's always going wrong. But the thing about Charlie Brown is he never gives up. He's still out there trying to win.
Sucker.
He never gives up. And you don't realize it because you're like, God, the guy never wins. But he's always the one out there in the rain. He's always the one still trying. He's still trying to get people to play. And trying to win with a dog in left field. And but he never gives up. But you should... letting him win like that, to me, was like sacrilege. That I didn't like, even though I liked that they used so much.
So they wouldn't do the feet dangling because that mean he gave up and hung himself.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Okay. No, he wouldn't.
All right, good point. Anyway.
What's funny is Olivia read, my brother gave me that cool toy over there. They made a, I don't know, like a limited toy of Charlie Brown the way he looked in the first strip. So I'm like, oh, Oli, read it. That's the first strip.
Sure.
And it's awesome because it's like there's two kids on a corner and he's walking up and they're like, oh, here comes Charlie Brown. Then he's like, good old Charlie Brown. There goes Charlie Brown. And the last panel is how I hate him.
Yeah.
But it was funny watching her read it. It's like, oh, it's still good because she hit the end and she was like, oh, that's so mean.
That's like how all women are to each other. Oh, I've missed you. You're so, oh, it's so great. Call me next time. What a whore. And then with guys, it's like, you're an asshole, you're a dickhead. And then you leave. You're like, that guy's pretty cool. You know? So it's totally the opposite.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I used to tell my students that were, when I worked in the school, like I'd give them hell. Like I just harassed the hell out of them. And one kid was finally like, you know, Mr. Gray, I thought you were a good teacher. I'm like, well, do you know how to use Flash? And he's like, yes. I go, you know how to use Illustrator? Yes. I'm like, then I am a good teacher. I'm like, your mistake was thinking I was a good person. and then I told him, I'm like, and besides, if I like you, you're good. That's when you know I'm harassing you. I'm talking to you. If you watch, if I'm not talking to you or I'm just going, that's when you, Mr. Gray doesn't. And then they'd start to look for it. They'd come in and they go, Mr. Gray, you don't like that teacher. I'd be like, what are you talking about? And they'd be like, we saw you. You were talking to him and going, I was like, oh, well, don't talk about that. Because I was like, dang, they're right.
Because they were right.
Because I was like, how do you know that? Like, you don't like that teacher. I'm like, did I say that in class?
Well, you think about all the people you love, you know, in your life that matter. You fuck with them hard.
Yeah, that's how we are. You know, and if you don't like them, you're like, I want this to end, so I'm not gonna like contribute to the conversation at all.
If I didn't like you, I wouldn't give you shit about your premature Christmas tree or your underage girlfriends.
What the hell? Underage? It's not underage. It's just that when you have to bring up the, like Roger likes to do, where it's like. Where he likes to point out like how old they would have been when we were in high school. That's not okay.
Were they even born?
That's not cool.
Yeah, it's because it brings it home.
That's what I don't like to think about. But putting up the tree, part of the glee of putting up the tree was that it was going to harass you so much.
I just fucking see. I grew up with, you know, my dad never wanted to get a tree.
No,
and because he did a big nativity scene, it was a Portuguese thing. And I remember a couple
we
years.
had that. We had like a giant one that would go out with the tree.
He would actually like it would take over the whole fireplace. Oh. Like he would do like this brown wrapping paper that he'd spray paint to make it look like a mountain and all this crap. And he built it up with boxes underneath. And there was just, I mean, it would just take a life of its own. So
wow.
And I hated it because every year it was a fight. And then, like, the few times we did get a tree, he'd get it, like, on Christmas Eve because it was, like, half price.
Dang it.
So it took the fun out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, we could do, like, a holiday episode later.
Yeah, for sure.
Today, we're talking about yelling.
Yes.
I'm going to start off with a clip from John Heffron talking about how his dad would kind of lay down the law. And here you go.
Right? Because here's the deal. Okay? My dad never laid a hand on any of us, but yet we all thought he would kill us at any given time. And that sounds good. That's exactly what I want, right? So I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, hey, how did you do that thing where we were so afraid of you? He goes, here's the deal, John. You're too nice a guy. You got to go ape shit in front of everybody. I'm like, what? He goes, you got to pick up a coffee table and chuck it through a window. I'm like, what? He goes, pick up a coffee table and chuck it through a window and smile at everybody as you're doing it. And that made me think back as a kid. That's exactly what my dad did, right? Here's what he did. My dad retired from UPS, worked third shift, which means he got home at 7 in the morning. 7 in the morning, that's when he'd kick all of us outside. Young guy, this is back when it was legal to boot everybody out of the house.
I like that young guy.
And lock the door to make sure we didn't get back in.
I like that.
People,
young guy, shut up.
I was gone for 14 hours. I don't remember anybody coming looking for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gone 14 hours playing on crap I know I shouldn't have played on, like this weird-ass big green box in between the houses that hummed. And was like 40 degrees warmer than the temperature outside. But I remember this one particular day, my dad woke us up, was marching us down the hall, and for no reason at all, the guy stops, turns, put his fist through the bathroom door, looks at me and goes, I come home one more time and see a bike in the driveway, I run it over. Pick up your stuff. Then he walked a little bit further, bam! Kick in another door, look at my sister. If you're not going to drink a full can of pop, don't open it. Right? And then he'd walk a little bit further, bam! Punch another. We're all up against the wall going, holy crap, the guy's insane. Did you get the trash cans at the bottom of the driveway? He's going to kill us all. Only to find out now as an adult, that dude had plans on replacing all the doors in that hallway anyway.
I love that.
I
love that.
That's the way to do it.
Usually when it gets to that point, it is like you're pushed to the limit, and then I know once I get angry, then it's like all of my reasoning goes away. I get like that lizard brain or whatever, and then I'm just like, ah!
Actually, that comes up in
here.
Stop,
caveman, you know?
Yeah. Well, I did a bunch of research and found some articles, which I will post links to in the show notes. And yeah, because I grew up in a house with yelling and beating, but I
love the thing though of young guy, because you'll talk about it sometimes and people will be like, oh my god, that happened.
Yeah.
I remember I mentioned to someone recently where it's like, oh yeah, my house was like an Indian casino as a kid. Like there's smoke everywhere, Oh my god, that's so bad for you. It's like, but that's what was everybody's house. It wasn't like you went to another house and went like, oh wow, like this one smells so fresh. Every house I went to was covered in smoke.
Well, yeah, my wife would tell me stories because both her parents smoked of them driving from California to Yellowstone in a car with the windows rolled up, and both of them smoking.
Yeah, no one knew. Everybody smoked. Jeez, funny.
Anyway, this first article, it's just entitled "Stop Yelling at Your Kids; It's Bad for Them."
Yeah,
so real groundbreaking. They did a study, University of Pittsburgh. Found that harsh verbal discipline, cursing, insults, and shouting can be as harmful as hitting or spanking.
That sucks. So what it sucks is like we're doing better than when we were kids, and then what happens is 10 or 15 years from now, it's going to be like, oh, what you did. Yeah. It's just like our parents were like, leave us alone. We didn't know. And now we're going to be like, leave us alone.
20 years from now, like, oh, they gave you a trophy? Oh, you poor kid.
Oh, yeah. No wonder they crushed your whole aspirations.
Yeah. So kids that were in homes, even with loving homes where there was yelling, yelling and bratty behavior reinforce each other, you're just going to get more back.
Yeah.
The yelling increases the likelihood that your kid's going to be depressed.
Yeah.
Which made me sad. And even kids in homes that are otherwise warm and loving were not immune to the damaging effects.
Yeah.
And then, as parents, we're like, well, fuck, I can't hit them. I can't, timeouts don't work. Bribery's wrong.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Yeah.
So pretty much when you yell at your kid, you're just going to get a kid that either does one of two things. You're going to yell back.
Yeah.
Or they're going to get shamed and kind of slink away. And no one wants that in their kid because that sucks.
What I try to do is I try not to like put anything like negative, what are you, I don't ever say like, are you stupid or what can you do? Like I watch that stuff. So like that stuff I know.
I said, get your fucking shoes on.
Yes, that's what it is.
For
it's
the 18th
totally
time.
Yeah, where it's like all I'm asking you to do. It's like at the beginning of this thing. It's like, he just needs you to get up, eat the breakfast that I've made.
Yeah.
So you can save your time, get your clothes on. I'm like, I just want you clothes on, hair done,
ready
shoes on.
Yeah.
So you can walk out the door. I've already taken care of your bag. Like maybe I'm taking care of too much because at her mom, she does way better. She actually does her little chores. Her mom checks it and then she's done. So it's like
her mom is scary.
Well, it makes it. Oh, it was funny because they called me and then I got yelled at for having my opinion on stuff well they called and we are dealing this.
Who's they?
Well, this is Oli and her mom.
Okay.
Melissa, and we are working on this with Oli where she'll talk back.
Yeah.
So we are working on that. So she's like, you gotta talk to your daughter. I'm telling her, and she's telling me, in a minute, all that stuff. So I'm talking to her. I'm like, yeah, Oli, we've been talking about this, this whole in a minute thing. Da, da, da. But then Oli's like, well, I'm doing the job that Mama told me to do, and then she's yelling at me for another job, and I'm not done with the first job. So then I'm like, I recognize that.
Yeah,
and then I got there. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, not only do you do that, my mom does that. and like,
get your shoes on, paint the house, take out the garbage.
You got to remember,
whoa.
yeah, you got to stick to one thing.
Yeah.
It's like, because then I'm like, that's, my mind works where I got to do the thing you told me first, know. But then it's like, but then I was like, but only that doesn't let you off the hook of like, you still got to explain. You can't just yell back. Like, you yelling back, I'm almost done, whatever. Yeah. That's the part that's not okay. You got to walk out and go like, I'm still working on this. Should I finish that or do this? Which
is rational, and then that pisses us off.
Yeah. Then you go, so you're
just fucking do it.
yeah, just get you. That's what happened one day where she was just like, you scared me because it was. I got so mad. It was just put your shoes on, and she was like, why do you have to talk with pauses?
She could never be.
And I'm like,
Shatner's
you're
kid.
still not putting your shoes on. That's like, I feel like we have to like at that point we have to like shoo them like a horse, like just grab their foot and go. That's it.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like my kid takes forever, so I'll give him like I call it a pants ride because he just dicks around and he'll run around in his underwear, and I'm like, come on, bud, pants ride, and he's like, oh yay! So he like puts his legs in and I pick him up, give him a big wedgie,
rides, huh?
but he just thinks it's fun and funny, and we laugh, and then. And, I can get him dressed. He's 6.
Got your pants on, yeah.
I can't do that when he's 14.
Yeah.
It's,
although, would be hilarious to have to see you like,
creepy.
Hold on, dude. Pants ride. And he's like, so giant. You're like, ow, my back.
Yeah, but he's 14. I'll be 55.
Come on, Dad. Ow.
Okay.
I'm running into that already because Ollie's used to me. When she was a kid, 2 things: flying her around like Supergirl.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. Yeah,
and then
and I still can't get the Superman music without going into.
Yeah, I can't get it. I always Indiana Jones on me.
Yeah,
and then what did I talk about the Rockabye Baby one? Yeah, so I used to do with her and the kids. I do Rockabye Baby, but I'd shake them. So I'd put them up in the air, and I'd go like, rock-a-bye baby on the tree top, and I'd shake them. And then I'd be like, when the wind blows, and I'd show, and then I'd really let them drop to the bed. Oh, my God. She had me do that. All 3 of them were over, and they're like, please, Uncle Mike. And she's, 60 pounds and long. The other niece is...
They're bigger than they should be.
Oh, my God. And by the second round of it, I was like... I'm like, and my back is there. I'm like, I can't. And they're looking at me so disappointed. Like, It's like, it's like that is something that
Mike could disappoint women of all ages.
Yeah. There you go. It's the first. That's the thing when they talk about first 5 years. There you go. That falls first 5 years, kid.
Yeah. I got an article from WebMD about yelling at your kids, and like you brought up, they bring up kids actually listen to you less when you yell at them. Because you think you're just driving it home, and like you brought up the lizard brain.
Yeah.
As soon as you begin to raise your voice, you activate the limbic system, which is pretty much the fight or flight.
Does it work though? I would think it can't work where I do, because there are times where my anger will go the opposite way, and then I'm like, I just want you. Like I get quiet. And I don't know if, do they listen then? Or is it also fear? Because
that's fear, but that's a different...
Okay.
That's not what we're talking about. But
all right. Because I also think that's not good either.
No, it's not.
Because it's
definitely
I know it's creepy, but I'm so angry at that point that I'm feeling like I have to talk like this so that I don't yell, It's like, oh.
Yep. But yeah, it just does. It triggers the fight or flight. So whatever point you're trying to get across is not getting through. They may do what you're asking, but they're not learning from it.
Yeah.
Then there's one where some people say it's the only way I get respect from my kids, and that to me is just bullshit.
That makes no sense. Yeah, that's just fear. That's not respect. They hate you.
Yeah. And then if I don't yell, they won't take me seriously. And then they say exactly what you just said. Yelling generates fear.
Yeah.
Not respect. And you could actually look at it like it's a form of bullying, which fucking sucks.
Oh, that's awful.
I don't know how many times I would just feel like this big pit in my stomach going, oh, fuck, I'm a horrible dad.
Did you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah.
But I always remember.
It's been like 30 years.
Yeah, I always remember at the beginning of it where Arthur Dent is trying to stop them from running down his house.
Yeah.
And they have a whole thing in the book where they're going through the mind of the guy who is sitting there who has the job of raising his house to the ground. And that guy doesn't understand why he has all these feelings of wanting to destroy him and burn him. And it basically goes through this thing of like what he doesn't know is that he's comes from this line of, like barbarians. And
nice.
I feel like sometimes when I get angry, I feel like, I want to, you get so mad, I just want to crush these toys. I want to throw, but I don't do it. But it's like, sometimes I wonder, is this part of like how we grew up, or is this part of also our like evolution? It's like we're getting so angry, like it's like now I just want to crush these all and burn
part
them.
of why you need to go to therapy.
You don't feel like that ever? That you're like, I wish I could just take all these Barbies and crush them.
No, I was the weird kid that always had empathy for inanimate objects. Like if I took like a piece of paper and left like the last piece of paper by itself, I felt bad for it because it was alone.
Wow.
And like when we were kids, I had neighbors that we would play with little green army men.
Yeah.
And every once in a while we'd get a pack of firecrackers and we'd blow them up, and I always felt bad for the guys we blew up.
But you still blew them up.
I don't be like, hey, how about we just set them up like this instead? Because it would really bug me.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it when we did it to like, they had those little, with the green army men, the little tanks.
Oh, yeah.
They could hold up to it, so you could do it over and over again. I didn't care about that, but I just felt for these guys, that had like no legs, and it was just like, so yeah, I was the way on the other side. It's like, don't hurt it. I think you call those people pussies. But
you were a nice little girl.
Yes, I was. A little hairy. But they talk about, because when you're yelling, you're trying to mold them into what you want them to be, rather than discovering who they actually are. So their big thing is talk to them instead.
Oh, did I say that last week that I realized where I had said before how Olivia a few months ago, actually it was when she was at the old school where I told her to go into you should do the talent show.
Yeah.
And then she got mad at me because she was like, why don't you appreciate the child you have? And I was like, where'd she get that from? And I was like, it was in Harry Potter. It was a Dumbledore saying. We heard it we were listening to the book again. I was like, there it is. And she was like, no, that's not it. That's not where I got it. I was like, it was word for word. I was like, very good for pulling out
comprehension is there.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I was like, wow. You could write a paper on that later. You pulled out that quote and used it.
How I duped my dad.
in a powerful way. Yeah, you squared that. Like, I didn't even pay attention to that quote when
How
we
I
heard
made
it.
my daddy almost cry. Mm-hmm. They talk about, some people say I just lose my temper sometimes. I can't help it. It's like, yeah, you can. Because the example they bring up, it's like, okay, imagine like you're at home and you're in the middle of screaming at your kids, and someone you respect, like your boss or something like that, comes to the door. You stop right away. That's not what you want to be seen doing.
Well, you don't want to get arrested either. The way it is these days, you got to be worried about anybody like, oh, we saw him yell at his kid. Let's call CPS, like.
Yeah. And then they wrap it up with, but the damage is done. I've been yelling for years.
I'm sorry,
nice.
but do you see what's happening over there?
Cat in a basket.
Kiki has decided, and I don't even know why this. Oh, it is out because we're trying to clean Olivia's room. Yeah. Her Easter basket is out, and there's a cat fully jammed in it that
you got
is a Mancoon.
Christmas tree, an Easter basket.
With a cat in it.
2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
I got to take a picture of that. That's ridiculous.
Okay, Mr. ADD.
I'm going to yell at this cat. I'm going to yell at this cat.
So, their big thing is, they bring a lot of it to respect. Respecting the kid, not them respecting you.
Oh.
They're saying, I've been doing this for years. The damage is done. It's like, well, they talk about neuroplasticity where, they recover.
So wait, but what are they saying you're supposed to do instead?
We'll get there.
Okay.
But they say showing your kids respect can rekindle their sense of self-worth.
Okay.
So you may have been yelling at them and making them feel like shit all this time, but if you kick it back in, then they say, when's the last time you got angry with someone who was treating you with respect? Which I thought, that's a good point. And I'm like, no, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Because if someone's treating me respect and I know I'm in the wrong, I will sometimes escalate it to a point where it's just a fight so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah,
because I'm
that's true.
fucked
You
up.
don't want to accept it. Yeah, I actually look at it sometimes that if my self-esteem is low enough on that particular topic, that I will think you're fucking with me.
Yeah, we'll just brawl.
Yeah, like, no, you actually are. Like, you it's like, no. Yeah, I totally understand that.
But you know, respect leads to trust, and trust allows us to all unleash our unlimited human potential, which kind of granola, but at the same time, pretty damn true. And then there's this other one where he kind of addresses how you stop. This other article by Stephen March just brings up, you know, yelling is not a strategy. It's more of a release. So we're doing it mainly for ourselves in a way. And I get that.
I don't even consider, I don't know. Like, would you consider that when it's like you're just like, you're snapping because you just got to get out the door? Like,
yeah, I do it all the fucking time.
That's a release?
I'm an asshole.
Like, I really need it to, like, at that point, I feel like I'm at my wit's end. Like, how do I get you out other than like lifting you physically out the door and put your shoes on?
Because we got into some tunnel vision where you're not, you know, and it just feels better. It's like, all right, well, I did what I could. You know, we're late. It's not on me. You know, it's just kind of, that's what goes through my head. But this guy, I'm not going to go into this, but this Dr. Kasdan guy promotes a program called the ABCs, which stands for Antecedents, Behaviors, and Consequences, where you just kind of set up what you expect. You know, see how the behaviors are modeled by you, the parent, and then the consequences when they don't follow. It's actually really pretty interesting, but I'm not going to bore you guys with it here.
Sounds like I need to, well.
It's interesting, but, you know, it kind of just brings up the whole, it holds us accountable as parents.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you yell at a kid because they didn't put their shoes away while you're tripping over your own shoes in the hallway, you know, kind of a thing.
This is true. Yeah, so, it is true.
But then we got, so, you know, we've all been there where you start off like, I'm going to be good today. I'm not going to yell at them. And then just, you fucking lose it.
Yeah.
Todd Glass has a clip, which is just fucking perfectly wraps it up. Here it is.
One of my friends, he's like, if I had kids, I'd be patient with them 24 hours a day. Really? I can't wait till he has kids, you know? The same guy at the mall. I said you're not getting a large! You get a small, or you don't get anything! And the problem with having kids are no one sees when you rationalize with your kids. They don't catch that part. You know what I mean? You're at the mall, your kid's like, I want a large. And you go, listen, Tyler, you get a small. And if you finish the small, you can get another small. But I wanted to get a large. Listen, Daddy doesn't want to yell at you because he loves you. You get a small. But I wanted a large. Listen, don't cry because Daddy gets upset. He doesn't want, but I want to get a large. And then here's when the people walk in. You're not getting a large, you little piece of And now you're mad because everyone thinks you're crazy.
Yeah, I'm a bad parent.
Now you're even more mad. Now you're like, hey, everybody, I'm not nuts. I am not nuts. I love my kid. He is a button-pushing, manipulative piece of
So thank you, Todd Glass, because that actually really wrapped it up nicely.
Yeah.
Because that's how it always works. Because it's not like we start off yelling, usually.
Yeah.
Although I have had those days, too.
I remember when Oli was little, I was at the mall with her. She would never do this with her mom, but she was like maybe 3, and I didn't even know how to handle this. Like, we were going, I took her into the Sanrio store, which was the Hello Kitty store.
Okay.
I was like, oh, let's look around, da da da. And then when we're leaving, she didn't want to leave. I'm like, oh, we gotta go. In the doorway, she throws her body on the ground and starts spinning around. And I'm just looking around like, oh my God, like, what do I do? I had to just like lift her up, screaming and moving her arms and just run away. Like, get away, get away. You're like running with a bomb. I've like that old like Adam West Batman movie where he's running around with a, what do you do when you have a bomb? Like, oh my God.
When Owen does that, I just start walking. Okay, I'll see ya. And then he realizes that he's alone, and he's still not okay with that.
Yeah.
So I think when he's older, he's going to be like, cool. But
whatever, yeah.
Right now, he's like, oh, he's leaving me forever, so he'll just stop what he's doing and come along. But
yeah.
that only works when they're little.
I've threatened her with one of those backpacks where...
No, the leash?
Yeah, where she's like, because she's wandered away from me a couple times, and I've told her, like, if you keep that up, I'm like, and I'll make it so I won't just flat out say it. I'll go, I seen these things, these like, it's like a backpack, and she'll go, oh, with a leash? No. I'm like, yeah, you seen them? You know where? I bet I could get that at the mall. No, Daddy,
They have cute ones. It looks like a tail, right?
I'll get you a Harry Potter one. See how much you like it. I don't like Harry Potter anymore.
Well, I found this perfectly named article. I'm feeling guilty for yelling at my child.
Oh, that's yeah.
Like I said, I feel like an asshole, and my wife is more than happy to tell me that I'm an asshole for yelling at my kid. Mm-hmm. They give out 5 things that you need to do right after you yell. Because I don't care who you are, unless you're just not involved with your kids, you're going to yell at your kids sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not like you're never going to do it.
Buy them a toy or get them ice cream.
No.
Oh.
So 5 things to do after you yell at your kids. Number 1, breathe. So just don't do anything until you've taken at least...
So sort of like...
No. Just back away. Take 4 or 5 really good breaths.
Like
just
a
to
growl.
settle down.
To like breathe it out.
Number 2, watch for a re-trigger. They say your kids might not be ready to give up the fight because you yelled and you just triggered fight or flight. So now you take 4 breaths. They may not be ready to be like, okay, now dad's rational.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for them to be still kind of triggered.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit more time, and don't let them get you back up. Take responsibility, which pretty much says, I'm sorry, I really let my anger get out of control, which I've said to my kid way too much.
Yeah, it sucks.
But the one thing that is key here, no buts. So say, I'm sorry, I let my anger get out of control, and stop there. Don't add, but you shouldn't have done this, and you should know better than...
But it didn't help you're an asshole.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it didn't help that you were being a sassy, bratty person.
Yeah. Give yourself a do-over. Something to the effect of, I was so angry earlier that I don't think you heard what I was trying to say.
Okay.
And if you start feeling pissed off again, let it go and try it again later.
So don't say, if you don't clean up after yourself, I'm going to turn your room into my office?
No.
Okay. I'm just taking notes.
Yes. You will have to sleep in the tub.
Yeah.
Then 5, repair the relationship. Sometimes you're not going to get your point across. That's not the important part.
Yeah.
The important part is make sure they know you're on their side.
Okay.
And then 2 more things to consider after you yell at your kids. Find the trigger. Figure out why you got pissed off. Mm-hmm. And with me, it's rarely the kid. It's usually because I'm pissed off about something else.
It's usually for me that I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
When I find, if I'm tired, I haven't eaten. It's all that halt stuff. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or whatever.
Never heard of that, but that
makes
sense.
They call it halt. But it's a lot of that stuff. If you think of just those 4 things, you're like, oh, dang it. Yeah, maybe I should have eaten. Maybe I should have got some sleep, Because it makes you more and more, at least for me, that makes me way quicker. That it'd be like, if I wasn't hungry and exhausted, like, that I probably would have just not even cared or handled it more like, come on, man,
Yeah, and I found that if I'm pissed off at my wife, I yell at my kid.
Yeah,
which is fucked because the kid did absolutely nothing wrong. And that's when I feel even worse.
And then outside of yelling at kids, when I don't have Oli, that's where that lonely kicks in.
Yeah.
I will find myself like,
just
that's why I'm
grouchy.
yelling at other cars.
Yeah.
That's why I'm yelling at people.
I've seen you yell at other cars. It's hilarious. I'm like, what the fuck good do you think that's going to do?
Learn how to drive. It's like the old George Carlin. It's so true. He would say that anyone that drives slower than you is an asshole or is an idiot. Drives faster than you is an asshole. Anyone slower is an idiot.
No, everyone who's slower is an idiot. Everyone who's faster is a maniac.
A maniac. Yeah. So true. Yeah.
Yep. And then,
what's the matter with you? And what's the matter with that guy? Yeah. Everybody's like,
if you see a pattern, address it. Get professional help, which is easy to say. It's fucking hard to get time and money to pay for a therapist.
Yeah.
And then, they wrap it up with, you're a work in progress, a parent who's learning from mistakes and moving forward in a positive direction. Kumbaya.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now they've got like the 10 proven ways to stop yelling at your kids. Which a lot of it overlaps.
Put your kids up for adoption.
That might work. You got to worry about someone else yelling at your fucking kid.
Yeah, no.
Know your triggers, which we already just talked about.
Yeah.
So if you know, just tell them, hey, I'm tired. It's been a bad day at work. Just let them know I need a little bit of time. So if you got little kids, they don't get it. They don't care either.
Yeah.
Give kids a warning. Like, hey, you're pushing me, and I just need a minute.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Which I actually think is not good because I've said that a couple times, and I can see the look on her face. Isn't at least with us because I've told her a few times, look, I'm almost hit my limit.
Yeah.
I really need you to start doing it. It's almost like a threat. You know,
it is a threat, but it's better than yelling at them.
It's true, yeah.
You're giving them...
I've told her that. Like, I'm almost at my limit. I'm tired. I need to get you to sleep. I got work to do still.
Mm-hmm.
I need your help.
Yeah.
And that's usually where you see her like, okay.
Yeah. Number 3, take a time out. Not the kid, but you. They do this one. Apparently this woman goes into the bathroom, yells into the toilet, and then flushes it away, which is stupid as shit. But if that works for you, great.
But the bathroom itself is a haven.
Yeah.
That is where and it's so sad to think that like you lock yourself in there, but I will lock myself in there.
My kid
Sometimes
just
I'll bring a
barges
book.
in.
Yeah. No, that's the times I got the door locked. Always like, why? I'm like, oh, dude, a minute. Because it is. It's almost like just like it's the safe room.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is...
Because they can't get at you for a minute.
Well, when we were kids, the parents were taking a time out. They kicked you out. Like, have fun, said. Go the fuck outside and play.
Or go in your room. Go
do something. No, you usually go outside.
Yeah.
We don't get that nowadays because you, as a good parent nowadays, you have to be involved with every fucking thing you do.
Yeah, and she'll tell me all the time, you're overprotective. And it's like...
You are.
I am, but... I feel like I got a reason for it.
Exactly.
Like we're in an apartment, you know, like I don't trust this. You know, it's a fairly nice one, but still, I don't want you just randomly out there. Plus, the way people drive in a parking lot, as opposed to when I grew up, was the street was pretty empty and we were in the middle of it, so you could see cars coming.
Yeah.
This one you can get run over quick.
Let's see. Number 4, make a yes list, which I've read this 4 times and it makes no fucking sense. Maybe you guys are smarter than me.
What's the yes list? Is it just basically a list of things you're grateful for?
No, just stuff you can do instead of yelling, like when you feel like you're getting there. Like, you know.
Take a drink. Get stoned.
Yeah. Jogging in place.
Punch
throwing
a wall.
the ball for the dog. Typing a social media rant that you'll never post. I mean, to me, that's like yelling in the toilet. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Teach the lesson later. This one is key because, you know, I catch myself a lot of times where I'm like trying to show Owen how to do something.
Yeah.
And he gets mad and I start yelling. And then I'm like, we still got to fucking do this. And maybe now's not the time.
I've had to realize, too, like, my expectations get me.
Mm-hmm.
Where I expect, you know, certain things like me wanting to teach Oli how to draw.
That's number 8.
And she'll get frustrated with me, won't do, and then when I'm
because you're a fucking artist.
Yeah, but then when I'm teaching at my class, she goes to this other wonderful artist lady that's there. That she's great, and then she'll come back and be like, "Oh, look what I learned! You know, isn't it awesome?" Like, and then she'll be like, "Do you know how to do this thing?" And I'll be like, and I just have to like swallow the yes, I do know to go like, okay, cool, yeah, I want to show you and be happy.
Yes.
But in my mind, I'm like, of course I know how to do that. I've been wanting to show you forever.
Yeah.
But I have to like not say that because then she won't learn from me at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's expectation, you know.
So,
and
managing expectations. That's number 8. That's a huge one. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and then you're expecting them also to be when you want to hear it. Because I was exhausted the other day going to do the art docent at her school, and I like put a lot of work into it. I get stressed out thinking the kids are gonna boo me or something, or
like
I'm gonna embarrass her, and you know, and then we're getting there, and she's like, you know, just doesn't care. So I'm like, why am I even here? But then after, she's like hugging me, like, oh, thank you for doing this. It's like the expectation makes you depressed.
Yep.
And it's like, but I'm doing this either way because I want to do it.
Be proactive. So if you get a yelling match every morning because they're not ready, do shit like get them ready in the night before. You know, have the clothes laid out for school already.
Yeah.
So they don't have to figure out what's going on, and you know, have lunch already made. All that bullshit.
Does it have on there to get your yelling out at like other adults so that it's all out of you? Like
no.
Yell at the store or yell in your car, like
pretty much yelling.
Why not?
Perhaps you need to jerk off more often.
Make yourself docile.
Let's see. There's a couple others, but then
perhaps you need to jerk off. I like how you started out sounding like it. Perhaps you need to. You should use masturbate with perhaps you should. Sounds like it should, because you're like jerk off. Sounds like.
There was actually an article a couple weeks ago saying that men need to ejaculate like 21 times a month.
Nice.
For prostate health.
Ooh.
So anyway, finally recognize that when it's about you and not about your kid's behavior.
Yeah,
like
and
I
that's
said,
the halt and all that stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, shit. And then there's 3 types of yelling. There's the raising your voice, which it's just like the stern thing you were talking about, which doesn't trigger the fight or flight usually. Then there's the yelling that's caused by anger. And then there's the good type of yelling where it's like, get out of the street, the car's going to hit you, that type of thing. There's nothing wrong with yelling for that. Because your kid's going to get fucking run over.
Yeah. See, Olivia determines that even raising your voice is, you're yelling at me,
Well, because she didn't grow up with your mom. I love your mom. Let's see.
And she had to yell to get past all of us. Rah, rah, rah. Get over here.
Perhaps she needed to try the AVC system.
Well, I would love to have her on
Your mom
this.
would just slap me on the head.
I'd love to have her on here. I'd say I'd love to have my dad on it, but I bet all we'd get is I'm not going on that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, we'd have a hilarious thing of just him going like, wait, what do you do?
Yeah.
What is this?
Your dad's not garrulous.
Who's listening to this? Yeah. He'd be all, you guys do what?
You guys think about parenting?
Well, no, I think he'd fuck with us and make fun of us just for even doing a podcast.
Oh, I agree.
He'd be like, what?
So
what is it?
Talk and no one listens? Yeah, pretty much.
He'd be like, that
You
sounds
just
like,
nailed down.
sounds like a fucking waste of time.
And
but,
everyone does this?
But all right.
It's like herpes. Everyone's got a podcast. Speaking of herpes, that brings us to our bad dad.
Whoa.
And this is an interesting one. Rapper T.I. brags that he takes his daughter to get her hymen checked every year.
And she's 30.
No. Well, she is 18.
Oh, my God.
She's in
man.
college.
What the fuck?
So 39-year-old father of 6 was discussing how he deals with the topic of sex in his household. And he says that he takes her every year for a hymen check.
Ridiculous.
She's attending her first year of college. And this is his quote. And yes.
That won't mess her up.
Yeah, here's his quote. And yes, not only have we had the sex conversation, we have yearly trips to the gynecologist to check her hymen.
Oh, my God.
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And he sees nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
And then she's 18, so she's an adult, and he makes her sign a waiver so that he can discuss it with the doctor.
Oh, my God.
And well, here's the funny part.
It's like an abusive relationship already.
But aside from that, well, he's a fucking idiot because, one, not every woman has a hymen.
Yeah.
And they vary in size and thickness and elasticity.
Yeah, and
so
they can lose it from gymnastics or horse riding. Yeah, there's
might not even have one to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Or she could just be with a guy with a really little dick that did no damage. Or she could be a big old whore that's blown her whole college already.
That that makes a lot more sense. Where it's like it's almost like it sets it up to be like, okay, fuck you then. Like she's gonna be. It's doing well, I guess the ass is in play.
Yeah, exactly. and that actually was a big thing. Like, it was like in the early 2000s where the purity pledges and all that bullshit were going on.
Oh yeah, the purity rings and all that.
All that, and they had like ceremonies where like daughters were pledging to their dads, which is creepy as shit.
That's
I think we talked
creepy.
about it here.
Yeah.
That we promised to be a virgin for blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and then they'd promptly go out and waste it.
Yeah.
No, but there was a big upsurge in actual anal sex in teen kids.
Jesus.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. But there's a bright side.
And it totally makes sense because it's like, well, then fuck you. Like, I'm going to get around it.
And like I said, your interest in her sex life stops when it comes to her sex.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
And I know, like, it sucks. There's no better way of getting a kid to want to do something. Because I remember as a kid,
you get forbidden. That's the only thing you want to do for the rest of your life.
I was like 5 or something, and my dad stopped and just told me, like, pointed at his stack, like Playboys.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and it was just like, you don't look at this, and it's like, whoa,
that's all
what
I want
is
to think
that
about for the rest of my
What
life.
is that? Like, oh, I gotta look. Like, it's doing that's like, you are not gonna have sex, and you better keep your hymen. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, why do I have to care about this? Better find out more about it.
Well, and one of the things I've always wanted to do is have like a good dad segment But since as a country we're horrible people and no one likes the positive,
you can't find them.
I did find some.
You did.
Remember Ethan Hawke?
Oh, yeah.
He has a daughter with Uma Thurman, I think.
Uma
Stop. And he has a very healthy outlook on it. Here's his quote. First of all, everybody does their own thing, but there's this thing that goes around with men. They're supposed to be scared of their daughter's sexuality. He remembers when his daughter was 16. He remembered thinking, I better keep those guys away with a shotgun at the door. And he said, you know what? I'm going to give Maya permission to be her own shotgun.
I like that. Because it is sort of like, I kind of feel like all you can do is try to help them to make the choices. But it's like, I don't want to put too much like fucking fear on them before it backfires and makes them like...
Well, and he says, if you act all scared of their sexuality, then how are they supposed to feel?
Yeah, then they don't know how to be,
And then my favorite quote from him is, she can handle herself and she can go and have a good time and she can make mistakes and she can recover from them.
Yeah.
So it's our job as parents to prep them so they can recover from them, not hide them from it so that when it does actually happen, they're all fucked up.
Yeah. So that she can grow up and treat and be like, where they're going to be going, you're like a guy. Which should be like, fuck you, I'm off.
I fucking love those
That'd
girls.
Be all right. There you go. Yeah, you're so mean.
It reminds me of a Jim Jeffries clip.
Where
he was talking about like his kid was like 2 or 3 and like another little girl moved into the neighborhood and he remembered thinking, oh, that's nice. A little girl his age. I hope he gets to fuck her someday. And, and that's as a dad with a son, you just think, I want my kid to get as much whatever. If he likes guys, as much of that. If he likes girls, as much of that as he could possibly want.
Yeah.
No guy goes, I want my daughter to get a lot of dick. It's a total double standard. And Dax Shepard, he's the guy married to Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
And he also is talking about wanting to teach he has daughters, plural.
Yeah.
He's super pro-sex. He's anti-having sex to get approval.
Yeah.
He's anti-getting sex to get someone to like you or gain status in a social circle. But, and these are his words, if my daughters are horny and they've decided they want to have sex, I'm very pro-sex.
Yeah.
And his wife, Kristen Bell, sex is wonderful. I want my kids to have sex. I want them to have good, healthy, positive, happy, wild sex. I think that is probably one of the most positive outlooks on it.
Yeah,
and it's hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that we at least have a lot of time to get to that point to be like. I like what it says. Like Ethan's quote was honest about it. Like having to think of it that way. Like, how am I gonna have to be? Am I gonna be like yelling? With the shotgun at the door or whatnot and all that, and it's like none of that really stops anything or does anything.
If anything, it makes them worse, and they won't be comfortable talking to you about it.
Yeah,
I'd rather have it to where, Daddy, I had a rough. I hope they don't call me Daddy. That would be gross. But Dad went out, met someone, and things went a certain way, and I didn't like the way that went. Because think about it, when we were in high school or early college, how bad we were at it.
Yeah, and it also, I realize now, I think I brought that up the last time we talked, watching Hocus Pocus, right?
Yeah.
How those movies really got it where I really felt
stigmatized virginity.
I felt in high school that I was like, like you feel like you're late if you're like 15 and you haven't had sex, and it's because of those fucking movies and all that shit, Porky's and like all the John Hughes ones. It's like you're you're a loser, you're a nerd if you don't, know, and it's like it makes it where you start to have to think of it in terms of something that's like, you just got to get it out of the way as opposed to looking at it as more of a healthy thing, you know?
Yeah, you treat it like taking a dump in the morning. I just got to do this.
I got to get this out of the way, so I can say, just so I can be left alone and not be in the the group to get made fun of or something,
Yeah, so as we're wrapping this up, T.I., your daughter might still be a whore. And Ethan Hawke.
Not might. More than likely.
Ethan Hawke, Dax Shepard, and Kristen Bell, thank you for your positive, you gave a good role model there. And it's got to be hard just because something looks, anyway.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think. Email us at thestandupdads@gmail.com. Subscribe. We're dropping episodes every Sunday. It'll pop up right in your feed. And if you see anywhere to review us or rate us, do it. Yeah. It helps us look good. And, even if it's bad, whatever. And if you need artwork,
put those all on Google if you do, because Google always has the best like bad reviews.
Okay.
Whenever you see, like, if you look up anybody on Google, like any business you go to or whatnot, they always end up with some that are just outrageously crazy bad ones that I love reading them.
I hate that because it's just so. There was a story, and it didn't fit, so I didn't bring it. But apparently, 2 guys in a white BMW were driving in New York, jumped a curb intentionally to hit a guy who was walking with his 8-year-old son, and then you see him. He jumps the curb, hits the guy. And the 2 guys in the car jump out, and apparently one of them went to stab the dad, and then they got back in the car and drove off. And I'm like, well, what the fuck happened? How's the kid? Because you could see the kid. They had the video. I don't know. It was just perfectly right on him.
Yeah.
And I read the remarks to see, what happened to the kid, because the article was shitty, because our fucking journalism's a joke, because now it's all for entertainment now.
Yeah, yeah.
And couldn't find anything. All I found were these fucking right-wing assholes. You could tell they were fucking racist because they were African-American that jumped out and were like, he had to pull his pants up and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, he probably had, the dad probably had it coming. And I was like, what the fuck? Not a single person asked, how is the kid?
Yeah.
So I had to actually look it up. The kid was fine. But apparently the dad took off and abandoned the kid because I guess he was scared for his life because it looked like it was a hit.
Yeah.
It didn't go well because he made it out. But it's just, and they're making a plea to, and they got great camera shots of the people. So,
yeah.
But I fucking hate people.
Yeah.
Because it's like not a single person had the decency to go, what happened to the kid?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm decent because I'm a horrible person because I was like, oh, this will be good to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I was like, oh, fuck, there was a kid involved. So anyway, the kid's fine.
It's frustrating, man. Yeah, and it's just so people are so easily like just convinced of stuff that they just stop caring or thinking of things in terms of just like as a human or as a person or as if this was somebody you knew. Once it becomes stuff like where
some of the remarks were like, "Oh, the libtards in New York are going to ban driving."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, for fuck's sake! Why? This is not a political issue.
Yeah.
Some guys.
Why is it a liberal thing to not want someone to drive and hit you and stab you with your kid? That's the shit I don't get.
I don't get it.
Or even with stuff where it's like, even with the stuff going on with the impeachment or something, it's like everything's got an excuse as to, well, that's just you liberals or whatever. Like, well, why can't it just be show whether or not you committed a crime or not?
Well, it's funny because they're attacking the process more than the evidence
because they don't want it. Yeah.
Well, it's like, okay, so it's like the equivalent of we saw you do it, you admitted to doing it, but you're saying it's not valid because we won't tell you who called 911.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay.
And as they're doing it, like more stuff is coming up, and it's like, dude, if this was just somebody you worked with, or just us having this happen,
we'd have been so
fired right away, jail, and everybody would be like, good riddance. Yeah. But because it's you've made it into like a sports team is how I look at it. It's so it feels like. It's like, oh, you're on the Democrat team, like it's
but
like.
Unfortunately, we're all pulling for the Dolphins this one. It's just a bad year.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, tell us what you think. TheStandUpDads@gmail.com.
Go to pencilforhire.com. That's pencil FOR hire.com or pencil for hire on Instagram.
And even if you don't need artwork and you just want to see some cool shit, because it hasn't been updated in a while, but there is cool stuff on there.
There will be updates probably once I can reach the Thanksgiving and Christmas break.
So you have time to put up a fucking Christmas tree.
Yes. And you know what? I ended up doing that thing by myself. Oli just sat here and stared at me. I'm like, come on, you wanted to do it. I am. But all you did was futz around and look through the ornaments.
What they do.
And then I'm just like, forget it. Like, I remember as a kid, I wanted to put ornaments on the tree.
No.
She is more so. She's going to be more of a CEO. She wanted to tell me what to do and made me redo the tree.
You're just figuring that out now?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm the foolio doing it, you know? Like, I redid it because she's like, no, Voldemort goes at the top of the tree, and this goes here. And I'm like, God.
And worse than that, you're probably going, is this good? Is this good, honey?
Yeah, well, I was like, here. And that's where the yelling starts to come, because I know my voice was like, it was ruining the Christmas spirit, because I was like all happy, and then it was like, here. Is this one right? No. Turn him. Is this fine?
It's hard not to yell when you realize you're a 9-year-old's bitch.
Yeah. Is this one? And then she's like, oh, God, this one doesn't work anymore. I'm like, yeah, it needs a battery. Stop complaining. I'm canceling Christmas. Oh, then now I'm on the list. Like, don't tell your kid you're going to cancel Christmas.
Dude, it was funny. Because I'm trying to teach Owen about calendars.
Oh, yeah.
So I showed him, here's today. And, because he was asking when Thanksgiving was. And I showed him, okay, so I gave him, I think it was like the 10th. Yeah. Said, point to the 10th. And okay. And then Thanksgiving's on the 28th. Can you see that? Or whatever day it is. Yeah. And he did. I'm like, oh. And he's like, when's Christmas? I said, okay, it's the next month. And I flipped it. I said, oh, it's not on this calendar. I guess we don't have one this year. Yeah. And he punched me in the nuts.
That's hilarious.
And Kim's like, oh, you don't threaten Christmas to a kid.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you can't threaten Christmas. That's a good one.
Anyway, check my side project, The Gag on This Podcast. We record every Wednesday night at 5:30 at Blacktop Comedy Club in Rockland. We just did one with Keith Lowell Jensen and Johnny Taylor, which was amazing. I was kind of quiet on this one because I was just in awe. Because these guys are pros. I mean, they've got CDs out. They've got, they've been doing this. This is their job, and usually we have guys that, work day jobs and
like us,
do comedy, but they still are committed. These guys committed all the way, and it was just amazing to watch. So
cool.
Yeah, give that one a listen when it comes out. Those come out on Monday morning. So this comes out on Sunday, so the next day, if you listen to us on the first day. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye. Get your Christmas tree up.
No. Bye.
The thing I want to say is thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.